Hello everyone, welcome to Technique Tuesday here at A Cherry on Top. My name is Sarah, I'm one of the design team here at A Cherry on Top, and today for Technique Tuesday we are focusing on die cuts. So I grabbed the cutest little die cuts I could find, and we're going to do a little bit of fall scene creating. So I'm starting with some white cardstock, whatever your favorite white cardstock is for blending. I have a little bit of High Tide and a little bit of Clear Skies ink from Ranger. This is Simon Hurley's Stellar inks. And I'm going to start by creating a sky. I'm using the High Tide and the Blue Skies for the top or for the sky part of my blending. I know that High Tide is technically like an aqua color, but you're barely going to see any of it. I just wanted to be able to have a little bit of light and dark in my sky. I didn't want it to be all one color. And I didn't want to pull out Midnight Snack because that would be really, really dark. And I didn't want really, really dark. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend the top part of this card panel until I am happy with it. And even if it looks blotchy at first, give it a minute. Let that ink kind of soak in and it will smooth out. For the grass portion of my scene, I am using 4 and Lighter Gator. I'm starting with the lighter of those two colors, which is 4. And I just ended up ink blending the bottom part of this card because the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and cut myself a little like hillside. So I didn't need to have this entire card panel, but I liked starting with 2 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panels to do the ink blending. Then I didn't have to do any measuring. I knew that however I cut my green part, it was going to work perfectly on top of the blue. So I went ahead and started with the light color, moved on to the dark. I'm going to go ahead and let both of those pieces dry, and then I'm going to grab these adorable Autumn Friends die set from Brutus Monroe. I don't know how this die set is still available in the shop, but it sure enough is. So this is what we're going with. I chose a variety of scrap pieces of cardstock from my stash. I love digging through the scrap bin, colored cardstock scrap bin to be exact. Great place to get all the colors you need to create a set of die cuts. So this die set has lots of little small intricate pieces. And then there are pieces that have like maybe 4 different elements for the animals on one die. And so what I'm going to show you how to do here is I'm going to show you how to cut those pieces one time with a light color cardstock and then be able to color in some of the elements that maybe you would want to go ahead and cut again and again and again. I hope that makes sense. So this is like waste-free intricate die cuts. I am doing the hedgehog and the fox. So the little hedgehog has his ears and his eyes. The eyes are one of the pieces. I did not die cut the inside of the eyes, and the nose is in the same die as the ears, and I didn't want to cut the have to cut the ears a light color and then cut the nose a dark color, and then I have all these little extra pieces. So I'm going to use a black gel pen. This is a size 10 Sakura Jelly Roll pen. That's my favorite size. I have them in black and white, and they work the absolute best for kind of coloring in things like those little die cuts. For the fox, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. So I did die cut one pass, all the different layers. But of course, then there were some layers where some things you would want to be dark and some things you would want to be light on the same die. And so I die cut them on light colored cardstock, and then I'm going to color them in with my black and white gel pens, depending on how I want them to be. So these are all the little pieces for the fox. Comes together pretty easily. So some die sets come with like step-by-step instruction on how to put everything together. These die sets just come with a paper that shows all of the different things you can make kind of blown up, and it's, I gotta tell you, very easy to follow. None of these little Autumn Friends critters are difficult. They're not made with real intricate parts. They do have small parts, but you know, those are the small parts you kind of assume will be there, like the eyes and the nose and those kinds of things. So I didn't have a hard time at all kind of getting all of these little critters together. So for this one, I did the same thing. I cut the nose from light colored cardstock, and I'm going to color it in with a gel pen. And then the ears are like two-toned. So I die cut the larger ear pieces, and then the smaller ear pieces, I am going to go ahead and color them in. Super easy. It was easier for me to color in the little ear pieces than to try to die cut and not lose the little ear pieces. So that's kind of like my biggest tip when you're working with these die cuts with all the little pieces. Think about what you could maybe, die cut everything in a light color and then color in the parts you want in a different color to kind of make the die cutting process a little bit easier. So I'm going to add his little tail. I love this little fox. He's probably my favorite. The owl that comes with this collection is also quite cute. There's only so much room on a card front, and these are not teeny tiny animals. They're pretty substantial. So you probably would just need one for the front of a card. I'm going to use two because I like my cards to be like nice and full, and I'm not a clean and simple girl. Now, I refuse to believe that all you paper crafters out there don't have a leaf punch. So many leaf punches out there. Whatever one you have in your stash, hanging around, there's lots of them. In the market, there's lots of them around. This is the part where you're just going to stash, dive, and punch a whole bunch of leaves. So I punched, I think, a total of 9 leaves, and I did use them. And this punch was hard to punch. I will tell you that right now. But also, I think it's like 20 years old, so I can't complain too much. All these leaves I am going to ink up using some vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. And now it's time to take all these pieces and put our card together. So I'm going to start with my sentiment. I have the Kindness Matters 6x8 stamp set from Brutus Monroe, which is also available in the shop. I am going to build my title or my card sentiment with 2 shades of Stellar ink. I'm going to use the Later Gator and the Weeping Willow color. So I'm going to stamp the smile a couple of times till it's really nice and dark against the bottom part of the card. So you can see that's the grass part that we ink blended. I just freehand cut some little rolling hills there. And the larger, wider bit that's on the left, that's where I stamped my smile. I'm going to use the willow color. I think it's called Weeping Willow. I'm going to stamp it a couple times so that we just have this cute little sentiment for our card. Next, it's time to put our scene together. So I am going to start by gluing the little hillside on top of our sky. I also die cut from my stash. Again, so many different companies make these little cloud dies. I am sure a Cherry on Top has something similar, most likely. These are kind of something that's just in your stash most of the time. So I'm gonna cut these 3 little clouds. The big one, you can see I reused some of the tape paper that we had cut with, or inked up with the green. Perfect way to reuse that. And we're gonna go ahead and add some puffy clouds to our sky. I'm gonna go ahead and decide where I want my little critters to go and get them right into place. I'm gonna put the fox, which is the larger of the two, kind of put him more towards the front, and I'm gonna put the little hedgehog kind of in the back behind the little hillside. Just make sure everything sticks. I'm using WIC glue because all of these ink blended panels, sometimes when you try to use a tape runner, it doesn't want to stick to the ink blending. And now for the leaf. I'm gonna scatter them in different sections all around my card front. I'm just making sure that everything is balanced and that there isn't any trapped white space anywhere, no open spaces that are just like calling out to me and saying, add a leaf here, add a leaf here. You know what I'm talking about. It's just, you can kind of see like where you need a leaf, right? I feel like you can't. So I'm gonna scatter them all around, and I end up using all 9 of the leaves that I punched. I'm gonna go ahead and put my cute little card front onto a card base. I'm gonna come in with some more of the white gel pen, and I'm just gonna add some little accents here and there around my card to give them some interest. And just, I really love to add white highlights to my die cut projects. I think it adds that perfect little finishing touch. So here are all of the close-ups and the finished card. How cute. I hope you've enjoyed today's Technique Tuesday and have a wonderful day. Bye.